Hello, today we're going to look at how to draw polygons using subroutines. I'll just recap some of the stuff you covered in lesson 2. Firstly, that you learn how to draw different shapes with Scratch. And so here we've got S to draw a square and P to draw a pentagon. And you place the pen down, and principally last lesson we looked at how to save yourself having lots and lots of blocks and dragging and dropping a lot of times by using a repeat loop. And so you noticed that for the square you needed to draw 4 sides, and so you did that 4 times. Equally with the pentagon you had to draw 5 sides, and you did that 5 times. But I'm thinking, wouldn't it be great if in the menu there was already a block that said draw a square, and you could maybe put a little number next to it and say you want to draw a square of size 8 or 9. And that's principally what we're going to teach you today. In fact, we're going to teach you a technique called using subroutines in your code. And subroutines are used to break down your problem into smaller chunks to make them more manageable, and also it promotes readability of your code, so that other coders, when they're reading your programs, can understand what it's doing. And so I'd like to start with, I'm going to make a subroutine or a block to draw a square. So I'm going to click more blocks, and I'm going to click make a block, and in there I'm going to call it draw a square. And in there, within here, I'm going to I'd like to add a thing called a parameter. If you look at other blocks, you'll notice that they've got these little white holes where you can add numbers, and that will change the behavior of the block depending on what number you place in. That's called a parameter, or sometimes it's called an argument. Either way, I'd like to add one. To do that, I'm going to click options, and I go add a number input, click that, and then in there I'm going to call that size, because I want to, if I change the size, I want to draw it a bigger or a smaller square. And then I click OK, and now you see that I've got a function definition to draw a square. And within there, I'm just going to go and be really lazy and place this code. You can drag them in step by step, and instead of move 100 steps, I'm going to use move size steps. So now the computer will look up the value that's in this hole here, in this parameter, and place it into this other instruction. So if that was 99, it would move 99 steps, and it's passing the parameter through. And so in the draw a square, I can get rid of this code, and I can do draw a square of size maybe 500 or size 75. It also lets me use that, makes my code more readable, and allows me to reuse that command again and again and again. Right, so that's all well and good. However, you might also want to just not draw a square, but also maybe draw a polygon of any number of sides. And so if I look at these commands, so if I draw a square, I repeat 4 times and I turn 90. If I draw a polygon, I repeat a pentagon, that's a 5-sided shape, I repeat 5 times and I turn 72. And hopefully last lesson you worked out the relationship between the amount that you turn and the number of sides is 360 divided by that number of sides. That's because in order to do a square, you turn 90 degrees 4 times, and in total you turn 360. So therefore the 90 was 360 divided by 4. Whereas with, say, a triangle, you need to turn 120 3 times, and 3 times 120 is 360. So when you're drawing any shape, you're turning 360 degrees around, and the number of times you turn in total is the number of sides, and so therefore to work out the angle that you need to turn is the 360 divided by the number of sides. And so what I want to do is I want to create a subroutine for drawing any kind of shape, a regular shape with a certain number of sides. And so to do that, I'm going to click again, make a block, and I'm going to call this Polygon, which is the word for a shape with a set number of sides. And in there, again, I'm going to add in, this time I'm going to add in 2 parameters. The first one is going to be sides, that's the number of sides the polygon will have, so 4 would be a square, 5 would be a pentagon. And the second time I'm going to type in size, and that's how big it's going to be on the screen. I click OK. So I've now got this polygon sides and size. And what I need to do is I would like to have the code so that it will draw a polygon of a certain number of sides. I would recommend right now that you pause the video and try and work out how to do this yourself. So how can you get Cody to do the maths for you to change 5 and 72 into the parameters and exchange between them? So press the pause button and I'll have a go at it, and then when you get stuck, come back. Right, okay, I'm assuming you've had a little try of that, and now we're going to try to do it ourselves. So the number of sides that a polygon has is affected by the number of times that it repeats. So I'm going to place instead of repeat 5 sides, I'm going to replace whatever the number of sides specified by the programmer was. Then when it moves forward, I don't want it to move forward 100 steps, I want it to move forward the size steps. So if they were to say make a polygon of 100, that would be the default value. And then finally, when they turn a certain number of degrees, we said before the number of degrees that they turn is 360 divided by the number of sides. So I'm going to need to go up to the operators menu and get the division operator out, and that would be 360 divided by the number of sides. Voila! And this is my tool for Polygon. I'm actually going to demonstrate this to make sure that you can see that it works. So I've got a polygon of 1 and 1, that's not really going to be that effective. I'm going to go, I'd like a polygon of 5 sides, each with a side of 80. I want to double click on that. I click, I can see that I've got 80 different, a pentagon of size 80. One thing I would say is this isn't very clear to read, and so I'm actually going to go and edit it, and then next to sides, I wonder if I can do this. Can I add in options, add a text label? Brilliant. And can I drag these across? Not sure I can. Maybe if I delete that and then I add a text label, and then in this one here I go sides, and then after here I go size, and then and then finally I add the last one that says size. So it becomes a little bit more readable for the user. We'll click OK. That's better, isn't it? Now there's 2 ways that you can extend this work. Firstly, you could maybe get the computer to draw a star, so a 6-sided star or a 5-sided star, and the user can type in the number of points on the star and also the size of the star, and then the computer will draw that type of star for you. The way to think about that when you decompose it is think of a star as effectively a set of triangles. So a 5-pointed star is 5 sort of isosceles triangles moving around a pentagon. A slightly easier exercise for you to do would be possibly to extend this to make a drawing of your choice, where it draws lots of different shapes in a chaotic manner and makes a piece of art. So I wish you the best of luck with that and hope you've enjoyed the video.